The further you are, the more social it's going to be. You'll notice in my approaches, I actually get quite close to the girl. So when I go over, I'm basically here. That's way more seductive. We're in this private bubble now. You could start off like this, and then as the vibe's there, you're just getting a little bit closer. And if she reciprocates, she might even step towards you as well. That's when you know you found your girls, by the way. If you approach her and she steps into you, then it's like, boom, we are on here.
Yes, it's the Castlenovians. All right, boys, in this one, I want to give you 36 things. 36 things that I've done since first starting cold approach 4 years ago that you can do. Like, you can literally just copy these things, implement them, and whether you are completely new to cold approach or you consider yourself a seasoned player, these are going to help you take your game to the next level. 1. Buy a blazer. Most guys dress down during the daytime. I found that investing into a well-fitted blazer not only gave me an easy competitive advantage, but it also made women way more receptive to my approaches. 2. Do the hardest approach first. Whether that's a girl in a coffee shop, a girl who's with her friend, a girl who's with her mum, or maybe even a girl who's with her parents. I just want to tell you that you look really good.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you with your parents, and it's probably a terrible time to do that. Doing what I considered to be the hardest approach first not only got me into a social flow state faster, but it also made all of the other approaches feel easier in comparison. 3. Approach without a phone. Whenever I'm working with clients one-on-one who want to practice going for instant dates, so meeting the woman and immediately taking her on a date, what we'll do is we will go out without our phones. When you remove the possibility of taking a phone number, instant dates become the only option. 4. Pimpstagram. With cold approach, many of us will get phone numbers and we never hear from these women again. And one of the lesser understood reasons for a woman flaking is down to a lack of social proof. In other words, the girl who you've approached doesn't know if you're safe. Think about when you go to a nighttime venue, the girl can see you with other women. She can see you with your friends. She can piece together in her mind, oh yeah, this guy has got a life outside of the venue. But when it comes to daytime, typically it's just you approaching the woman and she's got no context who you are outside of this conversation. Now, yeah, you can tell her about your lifestyle, but for me, evidence has got the loudest voice. So whether I dramatically decreased my flake rate was by building a compelling Instagram profile which conveyed the message, hi, I'm a normal guy who's not going to steal your curtains. And if you want my complete guide for building a compelling Instagram profile, then stick around till the end and I'll give it to you. 5. Change location. Having cold approach all over the world, from Leeds to Rio, from Belgrade to Bangkok, I understand environment is everything and good game cannot make up for a shitty location. One of the most overlooked attraction triggers is rarity. My closing percentage in Rio is far superior to my closing percentage in any UK city. Why? Because in Rio, I'm more rare. Yeah, my perceived relative sexual market value is much higher, so my results are way better. Same guy, different place, different results. So dude, my advice to you is go where you're valued. Yeah, put yourself in environments where you find the women attractive, where the women find you attractive. Life is too short to be pissing your time away in a location that doesn't inspire you. Yeah, I started cold approach in Leeds in 2020. And if I'd have stayed in that city, I probably would have given up on cold approach, quite honestly, because that was not the city for me. If you want to have an abundant dating life and really take this skill set to the moon, you have to be positioning yourself in the environments which are conducive to your expectations as a man. 6. STFU. One of the easiest fixes that any guy can make to their cold approaches and just conversations with women in general is to shut the fuck up and let the silence do the work. When we're nervous, we have a tendency to speak too fast. When there is a gap in the conversation, oftentimes it can make us feel uncomfortable, so we rush to fill it in. But when we do this, when we speak too fast, when we try desperately hard to fill the pauses, we give off this insecure energy. And if you're somebody at the moment who struggles to build any sort of sexual tension with women, if your conversations never seem to go past that platonic chit chat, then slowing down, letting the silence do the work, pregnating your conversations with pauses, it's going to make you feel more in control. And you can practice this whenever you're speaking with people. It doesn't just have to be women. I used to be so erratic in my conversations, and I had to train myself to go slower. Okay, so this is a practice, and we become what we practice. 7, sacrificial sets. When I was learning cold approach 4 years ago, I noticed it took me about 3 approaches to start to break the social ice with myself. And having coached hundreds of guys of all different backgrounds, different ages, different social abilities, 3 seems to be the sweet spot. Usually, first one's the worst one. So just get that out of the way. Get yourself through those first 3 approaches, recognizing the way you start is not the way you finish. What I used to find would happen, after I got those first 3 sets out the way, by the time I got to the 6th or 7th approach, that's when I was really starting to find my flow. And by the 10th approach, dude, I was at God level game. Yeah, so once you start to become more proficient, I recommend having sessions where you do at least 10 approaches, because it's going to take you those first 3 approaches usually to break the ice with yourself. So don't just go out and do 1 and then go home. Don't just go out and do 3 and then go home. Those first 3, they're just the warm up. So get those out the way and focus on the good ones. 8, my secret garden. I used to live my life like a closet heterosexual. Yeah, I was ashamed of being a man and finding women attractive, having sexual desire, and this would castrate me of my confidence in my cold approaches. Yeah, when I was first learning this skill, I would give off these gay best friend type of vibes, and the reason was because I was carrying a lot of sexual shame. Yeah, and this might be something you're experiencing right now. You're scared of being a man. You're ashamed of having desire and finding women attractive. So one of the biggest game changers for me was reading My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday. This is a documentation of 1960s housewives who write into this woman and share all of their different fantasies. And you can actually listen to this as an audiobook when you're out there in the field. Listening to this made me realize women are sexual creatures. They are thinking about sex probably more than you are. You are a man and you have desire, and that is normal, that is natural, that is healthy. Own your masculinity, own your desire as a man, because she's gonna feel what you feel. 9, set a time limit. Because I work with entrepreneurs, business owners, high achieving, busy professionals, they don't have the time to be pissing away, going out there, parading around the pavements for 5 hours. No, I'm all about efficiency, okay? The way that I run my coaching sessions is let's get as much done in as little a time frame as possible. Go hard and then go home. Setting a time limit and setting a number of approaches helps you to maintain efficiency. You can set the intention to go out this Saturday and do 3 direct approaches in 30 minutes. It's very similar to going to the gym. Yeah, you're not going to go to the gym and train there for 3 hours. After a while, it becomes diminishing returns and you start to lose your energy which you could have used for another session. So set a time limit, set a number of approaches. The time limit is more important than the approaches. So if you've got to the end of those 30 minutes and you've done 2 approaches, great, you've done 2 approaches, congratulations. Do something else, get on with the rest of your day. If you haven't done any approaches after those 30 minutes, forget about it, do something else. You're probably not going to approach that day, and the more you stay out, the more you're going to get stuck in your head. 10, approach more. This one seems common sense, but common sense is not common practice. If you want to get fucking amazing at cold approach, then you need to approach more. Yeah, whatever you want to get good at, whether it's an instrument, a language, a martial arts, repetition leads to proficiency. To give you some context, when I was first learning this was when I was working my 9-to-5 job at the National Railway Museum in York. I would have weekends where I would get the National Express. If anybody knows the National Express, represent. I would get the National Express from Leeds to London. I would do 80 approaches on a weekend, and then I would get back to Leeds early Monday morning and be ready to start work at 8:30 a.m. that Monday, right? But this is what I'm talking about. Volume, volume, volume. You don't want to be half-assed in this, right? It takes 100 direct cold approaches to start to develop proficiency. But what you want to be doing is getting these first 100 approaches done in as condensed a time period as possible, right? Don't be one of those guys who takes months or even years to get those first approaches done. 11, have an immersion week. Right, so we know it takes 100 direct approaches to start to develop proficiency. What I recommend you do is have an immersion week where you get all of these approaches done within 7 days. Book a week off work and go all in with cold approach for these next 7 days. Aim to do 15 direct cold approaches every single day for 7 days. By the end of this week, you'll have done 105 direct approaches. And then you take all of that momentum and integrate it into your busy lifestyle. 12, pre-game. If you're somebody who gets stuck in their head a lot when it comes to approaching attractive women, then what I suggest you do is some form of physical activity before you go out there and cold approach. When I lived in Rio, for example, I would do 10 sets of hill sprints before I went out and did any approaches. And doing physical activities, whether that's sprinting, martial arts, lifting heavy weights, I found it helped to get me out of my head. Something else you can do as well before you do any approaches is record yourself in public, right? Just make a 30-second video of yourself outside, talk to the camera. Hey, I'm out today, gonna do some approaches, doing this video to take a sledgehammer to my social anxieties. People are gonna be looking at you, and that's exactly what you want. You're not trying to avoid the spotlight, you are inviting the spotlight onto you. And dude, if you start off your day, you've done some sprints, you've gone back home, you've had a cold shower, then you go outside, you record a video of yourself. By the time you've done all these things, it's gonna feel as though you've already done 10 approaches, right? You're gonna be able to see women, and that hesitation, that doubt is going to be minimized. And instead, you're going to be able to experience success in advance. 13, just focus on the open. Dude, we've all been in those positions where we see a woman who we want to talk to, but we're in our heads thinking, this needs to be perfect. Oh, I need to be seductive. I need to be charming. I need to be witty. And because we're thinking way too many steps ahead, we don't do the approach because we thought we needed to be perfect, yeah? And this is why I say, fuck perfection, just show up. Just focus on the open. Just focus on getting yourself into that conversation. Literally, all you need to focus on when you see that girl, just say fuck it, right? Just say fuck it, let your legs carry you and allow words to come out your mouth, okay? If you can just focus on the open, just focus on the first few seconds, just focus on blowing that woman away, it's going to stop you from thinking too many steps ahead. 14, know when to leave. One of the worst pieces of advice that I heard when I was first learning cold approach in Leeds 4 years ago was just keep talking. And I'm like, no, don't just keep talking. That is the worst thing you can do. That, dude, if you've gone over to a girl and she's clearly not receptive. Maybe you've gone over and you give her a compliment and she's like, oh, thanks. And she's just giving off those please fuck off type of vibe. Then don't just keep talking, right? Wish her a good day, move on to somebody else who values your approach. I always, when I'm coaching my guys one-on-one, the mantra that we use is end on a high. Okay, so if you've gone over to a girl, there's not a vibe there, don't just stay in the conversation. Don't think that, oh, I just need to game her more. This is just a shit test. No, she just doesn't want to speak to you. So wish her a good day, end on a high, and focus on somebody else. 15, digital detox. Dude, there's so much noise online these days, especially in the men's dating scene. Yeah, it's so easy to get bombarded by bullshit, to think you have to be this 6'7", high value, 18 raw eggs a day, giga Chad who's driving a fucking tinted Bugatti in order to get women attracted to you. And something I've noticed, especially when it comes to young men as well, is the overconsumption of red pill, or even worse, black pill content. If you're spending all of your time on the internet consuming, it's no wonder when you step outside, you feel like an unlovable piece of shit, right? I've been in this position myself, right? So I've been in that position where I've gone deep down the red pill, the black pill rabbit hole. I was telling myself the story, I'm not enough, no woman's ever gonna want me. the internet is not reality. So what I suggest that you do, because it becomes like porn in a way. You almost feel incomplete if you've not watched any particular content that day. So have a 7-day digital detox where you prioritize implementation over information. 16, define your why. Once you've done those first 100 approaches and you've developed proficiency, it's important now that you define why you're actually going out there. Okay, at the start, it's easy. At the start, for those first 100 approaches, your why is I'm going out there to develop proficiency, but don't get stuck there. Get clear on why you're now going out there. Maybe you're going out to find a wife. Amazing. Maybe you're going out there to find a gob-smackingly gorgeous girlfriend. Amazing. Maybe you're going out there to get a rotation of women. Maybe you're going out there today purely to get an instant date and a playmate for the night. Whatever it is you're going out there for, define the why, okay? Because it's Nietzsche who said, he who has a strong enough why can bear any how. If you know you're going out there because you want to find a wife, beautiful. Now you understand you only need one. Yeah, you don't need to be everything to everybody. You just need to be a somebody for the right somebody. Most guys live like accidents. If I ask them, yo bro, what are you going out there for? It's like, oh, don't know. Just see what happens. Yeah, it's just like sleepwalking through life, living like an accident. Don't be that guy. Define your why. Once you've defined your why, you can achieve your what. 17, record your audio. Right now, you don't know what you don't know. Most guys are going out there and they've got no idea why they're not getting the result from daytime cold approach, and it's because they don't have a point of reference. So the next time you go out to approach, start recording the audio of your conversation. So just use the voice recorder app on your phone, capture the audio through your headphones, and then once you get back home, listen to your recordings to find out what you're shit at. Yeah, so for you, you might be talking too fast. You might be giving off platonic gay best friend vibes because your tonality sounds like a high-pitched field mouse. Maybe you're asking too many questions. Maybe you're not asking enough questions. Maybe you're not sharing enough information about yourself. So you're walking away from that conversation thinking, that was a great conversation, but the girl doesn't have any information about you. You're still a perfect stranger. So get a point of reference, record the audio of your conversations, and then implement the next point. 18, create your sticking point list. So when I was learning cold approach back in 2020, I would go out, I would record the audio of my conversations, and then I would listen to my conversations back to find out what I was shit at. And then I would take all of my weaknesses and compile them. I know how autistic and nerdy this sounds, but it fucking worked, right? I would compile my weaknesses into a list, which I called my sticking point list. And I would focus every session on improving one of these things. So maybe I noticed my approaches lacked conviction. Maybe I was speaking too fast. Maybe my conversations were not lasting long enough. Maybe I was going for the close way too early before I even built any investment. So record the audio of your conversations. Now you've got the point of reference. Then use these points of reference to write down what you're shit at. And this part's really important. Only aim to improve one thing at a time. If you're going out there and you've got 3 things that you're trying to improve, you want to be more seductive, you want to ask more questions, and you want to slow down more, it's going to be too much for the mind to compute. So just focus on improving one thing at a time. 19, approach with conviction.
You started off well, but then you fucked it up by complimenting her on her nails. You don't give a fuck about her nails, right? And like you just said to me, the reason you're complimenting her on her nails is because you were running out of things to say, you didn't know what to say next. You probably just looked at her nails and thought, oh, I can compliment her on that. If I compliment her on this, maybe she'll like me more. But you don't care about her nails. So when you're going to go in there and give people compliments, give them a hard-hitting compliment. So, hey, excuse me, you look amazing, and then just let that sit. Because if you then give her another compliment about something specific, for me, it dilutes the conviction of your compliment. So, you look amazing. By the way, I like your nails. No, you don't. And she knows you don't. She knows you don't care about her nails. What I found works best, if you really want to blow a girl away with your compliment, is just compliment her on her entirety. You can say, I just saw you, but you don't even need to say, I just saw you. It's, hey, excuse me, you look fucking amazing. You don't have to say it like that, but like, you get the point. You're not hiding behind any weak opens or compliments. Forget about the nails, forget about the fashion. Oh, excuse me, you look incredible. And then let that sit. You look so good. You look incredible. Yeah, and then we have that conviction there. It'll make your approaches 100 times better.
20. Social to seductive. Something I really struggled with when I was first learning cold approach was building sexual tension with the women that I was speaking with. One of the easiest fixes that I found to take my conversations from social to seductive was actually just standing a little bit closer to the girl.
The further you are, the more social it's going to be. You'll notice in my approaches, I actually get quite close to the girl. So when I go over, I'm basically here. That's way more seductive. Now it's like we're in this private bubble now, and that will then create more of that. So if we're in this space, it's just such a subtle difference. Like if I take a step back, now it feels social.
Yeah.
But if I take a step forward, boom. Well,
Yeah,
it's almost like you.
really
It's almost like
different.
you could kiss me.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Obviously.
You can if you want. But yeah, point like this like, and it feels weird. I get that. If you're new to this, you're probably going to be more like this. But you can change your position as you're talking. So if you've gone over someone like, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?"
Shay.
Sure, lovely to meet you. My name's Kristian.
Nice to meet you.
And then the conversation goes on. What I do these like little micro movements. They don't even notice, but I literally just take a little step. It's like playing chess. I just get closer, and by the time we finish, we're basically just like this. So the way you
Just
start.
keep it natural, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The way you start's not the way you finish. So you could start off like this, and then as the vibe's there, you're just getting a little bit closer. And if she reciprocates, she might even step towards you as well. That's when you know you found your girls, by the way. If you approach her and she steps into you, then it's like, boom, we are on here.
21. Go inside. Most guys who learn cold approach only focus on street approaching. And for me, this misses out on a big part of the game. I think that if you can become proficient and comfortable with approaching indoors, then that's going to give you a competitive advantage. So just set a weekend aside where rather than doing outdoor approaches, go indoors, go to museums, bookshops, art galleries, train stations, and acclimatize yourself to these new environments. I think we've all had those situations where you see a girl outside who you want to talk to, then she just swerves into a shop and it's like vampires to the sunlight. It's like oh, I can't approach her now. She's just took 2 footsteps inside a Zara. Oh no! So yeah, just get comfortable approaching indoors. And this is especially useful in cities where it gets fucking cold during the winter, like London. Yeah, if you become proficient in indoor approaching, then you can go to the department stores, you can go to the train station. 22, never be at home. You ain't gonna meet the love of your life sat on your ass at home on your sofa, binge watching some BS series. So this mantra is deliberately hyperbolic. Like, obviously we need to spend time at home, we need to sleep, we need to make love, we need to watch Kristian Casanova infield videos. I suppose you can watch those like on the bus, but never be at home. Like, take any and every opportunity to just get outside, whether it's returning a pair of jeans, rather than eating at home. Like, just go to a restaurant, go to a cafe, put yourself in environments as often as possible where social opportunities are abundant. Society is set up in a way now where we actually never need to leave our homes. Yeah, we can work from home, we can ship from home, we can get food delivered, we can watch Netflix. Like, we don't actually have to leave our house. So yeah, reject the programming, refuse to settle for mediocrity. Don't be another castrated consumer. Never be at home. Spend more time in the environments where you're more likely to meet people. 23, continue talking after the number. So a mistake that I see amongst many of my beginner clients, and you might be making this mistake now, is once they've got a girl's phone number, they just bounce like it was some stealth operation. And what I found to be useful if you want to decrease your flake rate is just stay in that conversation for a couple more minutes and continue to talk to the girl once you've got her number. And if you're thinking, yeah, but what do I actually talk to her about? Then do not worry, young Padawan. That's what the next principle's for. 24, plan the date during the convo. What I found to be true is, I don't know why I'm sat like that. What I found to be true, come on, serious. What I found to be true is people are less likely to bail on plans they've already committed to. So once you've got the girl's number and you're thinking, what do I say now? Talk about the details of the date and get super clear on where you're going to take her and what time. So for example, let's say you're speaking with sexy Susie. Rather than taking the phone number and bouncing, once you've got the phone number, you can just say something like, hey, I'm planning on going to Gordon's Wine Bar this Saturday at 7 p.m. Wear your best frock. Seduction is sales, right? You want to be painting that vivid picture in her mind. Like she can imagine in her head the two of you clinking glasses at Gordon's Wine Bar. And by fleshing out the details of the date during the convo, it means you're not having to do all of this over text. Yeah, and it might feel a little bit uncomfortable if you've never done this at first. Like, oh, I don't want to come across as too pushy or too needy. It's like, no, it's just basic logistics. And this is why it's important for you to day game deliberately. Yeah, I actually have an idea in your mind ahead of time where you're going to take these women. Like, dude, women love this shit. It projects your proclivity as a protector. It's like, oh, this guy's got a plan. This is the Prince Charming guy who's going to take me to Gordon's Wine Bar, sweep me off my feet. The plans are already in motion. I just need to say yes. Oh, this is so exciting. Like, have a plan. Yeah, have a plan and then just talk about the plan during the conversation. 25, let her cross the road. A mistake that I see with guys who approach is when you see a girl who is about to cross the road, let her cross the road before you approach her, right? I'll see guys and they'll just bulldoze straight in there, approach a girl who's about to cross the road, and they wonder why the conversation is an absolute car crash. She's thinking about crossing the road. If you're approaching her before she crosses the road, her attention is elsewhere, right? Her attention is not on you. She's just up in her head thinking, oh, I just want to cross this fucking road. Oh, great. The light's gone red again. Now I have to wait another 5 minutes. So let her cross the road first. 26, talk to everyone. All cold approach is talking to people, right? That's all this comes down to. So if you want to get better at cold approach, simply get better at talking to people. So whenever you leave your house, strike up conversations with people, make eye contact, say good morning, good evening, sayonara. Go out there with the mindset every single day of seducing the world, right? How can I leave every person that I speak to better than I found them? How can I make all these women feel beautiful, desired, and sexy? It might be the waitress, the barista, the, I don't know, train bus driver. Make everyone feel amazing, right? It's just coming down to talking to people, right? That's all that this is. Forget about game, forget about pickup, forget about push-pull, vibe stack. Oh, has she hooked yet? If you want to get fucking great at cold approach, just get fucking good at talking to people. And if you want to put your social abilities on steroids, then what I recommend you do is sign up to a few improv classes. Improv will teach you how to lose. Yeah, improv will give you permission to embarrass yourself in public, and you'll quickly realize embarrassing yourself leads to confidence. A lot of us, especially the guys that I work with, we've got, like, our egos are big, right? So we're scared of looking like a tit. We're scared of embarrassing ourselves in public, saying the wrong thing, losing value in the eyes of women. But as soon as you can just give yourself permission to look like a bit of a tit, embarrass yourself from time to time, it's gonna free up your energy. Right? You're going to feel better in yourself. You're not going to take yourself too seriously. 27, it's all in your head. One of our Entourage members recently shared a message inside of our private WhatsApp group, and I want to share this message with you. The main realization for me is realizing it's all basically neurology, i.e. brain chemistry. When you get positive or negative reaction to cold approaches, there is very little about them that is tangible, i.e. real. It's all in your head. Once I fully accepted the reality of what these interactions are, it was easier to stop giving a fuck about the outcome. When I did that, my results got better as the women sensed it. It also helped with me doing difficult indoor approaches, the tube at bus stops, etc. There's nothing special about these locations either. If it's all in your head, that means you can control what is happening. Just have to practice and gradually train the skill. The results will take care of themselves. 28, have great wings. One of the easiest ways to improve your results from daytime cold approach is having great wingmen. Yeah, having great people around you. Something that I learned early on is solo cold approach is only going to take you so far. Eventually, you'll hit a point in your journey, just like I did, where solo just starts to feel like a slog. Rather than operating from a place of, I want to do this, it's, oh, I have to do this. And if you don't have great wingmen, guys who can push you, who can hold you accountable, but more important than that, guys you can just have a laugh with, right? I think that is one of the most overlooked, underestimated elements of daytime cold approach, is having fun. Actually laughing your way through a session, not taking yourself, not taking the situation, not taking the girl too seriously. And it's way easier to do this when you've got great wingmen. And dude, if you don't currently have great wingmen and you would like to have great wingmen, then I run a private community called the Entourage, and inside the Entourage you will find like-minded guys who you can instantly connect with. If you'd like to join us, there's a link below the video. 29, stop watching porn. As many of you boys will know, I used to be addicted to porn. I used to use porn as an escape from a life that I wasn't proud of. At the time, I didn't have any women. I was living this low-life, loser lifestyle that, yeah, I wasn't the man that I wanted to be. So porn became a crutch. But if you're beating your meat, jacking yourself off every night, every day, then it's gonna dilute your desire to dominate the day. Yeah, you're gonna lose all of your motivation to actually go out there and meet women in the real world. So what I would suggest that you do, which is what I did, is have a 7-day. Just go cold turkey for 7 days and use all of this energy. Yeah, all that energy that you've now got, transfer that into cold approach. 30, embrace your own mortality. In 100 years, we're all gonna be dead. That woman that you want to approach and you're thinking, oh, this is so scary, she's gonna be dead too. All right, and as soon as I started embracing my own mortality, as soon as I realized everything's forgettable and nothing matters in the most liberating way possible, it made me feel free. Yeah, it gave me this urgency. It made me realize we never get the same moment twice. So I don't want to be one of those guys who sleepwalks his way through life, wakes up when his best years are behind him. I understand now that rejection is better than regret. So whenever you're in those moments and woe is me, ruminating in your own egoic self-absorption and you've lost motivation and you're thinking, what's the point? Could be worse, dude. You could be dead. And one day you will be. So memento mori. Yeah, remember you will die, and allow that to impress urgency on this life. 31, celebrate your wins. If you're anything like me, then you will fixate on the negatives. You will be a crushingly cruel commentator of yourself. Even if you went out there, even if you did take action, dude, even if you got the result that you wanted, you'll always find reasons to be negative. Yeah, especially when you're first getting started. Oh, I went out, but the girl didn't stop. My conversation was shit. I didn't get a number. Oh, I got the number, but the number flaked. And when you're in this mindset, it's easy to slide back to square one and lose momentum. So what I get my clients to do, and what I suggest you do as well, is just start celebrating your wins. Celebrate every win like you've just won $1 million. You went out the house today, that's a win. You made eye contact with a beautiful woman, that's a win. You approached, win. You started a conversation, win. You got a number, win. Right? Just celebrate these wins like you've won $1 million, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna increase your overall frequency. The more you win, the more you'll want to win. And what this allows you to do is be action focused rather than outcome dependent. 32. Assume attraction. Imagine walking over to a woman who you'd already had 10 out of 10 mind-blowing, crazy, chimpanzee, monkey sex with, right? Imagine how carefree, imagine how non-needy, imagine how detached from outcome. It'd feel like taking a piss, right? If you assume attraction and approach every woman as though you're already romantically connected, then you're gonna radiate this self-assured, magnetic, abundant energy, and there's gonna be zero doubt in your mind that this woman wants you. This is the way we want to approach. 33, you win or you laugh. One of my favorite mindsets for approaching, and just life in general, whenever I'm faced with a task which inflicts apprehension onto me, I tell myself, this is either gonna go well or I've got a funny story. 34, one approach away. Dude, I get it. All right, cold approach can be brutal at times, right? If you're in one of those negative momentum cycles at the moment where it feels as though nothing is sticking, you're just getting rejection after rejection, every phone number you're getting is flaking, it's so easy to lose motivation and give up. But the mindset which always helped me navigate these darker nights of the soul was recognizing I'm only ever one approach away from my entire life changing. And this is especially true once you've defined your why. If you know you're going out there to find a wife or find a girlfriend, you are only ever one approach away from finding her. And I don't know, for me, it just made all of the negatives, the flakes, the blowouts, it made it all easier to stomach. Yeah, it was like, okay, I'm only one approach away from meeting my wife-worthy woman, my gobsmackingly gorgeous girlfriend. 35, prioritize imperfection. I started cold approach in 2020 during the pandemic, looking like a turnip and having erectile dysfunction. Right? I didn't wait for the moment to be perfect. I said, fuck perfection. Let's just do the best now with what we've got. I was far from the man that I wanted to be, but rather than waiting for the moment to be perfect, I focus on taking imperfect action. 36, increase your SMV. Yep, looks matter, but there is a big difference between looking good and being good looking, and it is within any man's power to improve upon what he's been given and play his hand to the best of his ability. Use me as an example. If you want my exact blueprint for how I became a more fuckable version of myself, externally and also internally, then download my free course. It's linked in the comments. Whilst you're there, you can also download my free cold approach course as well. It's called Conversation Killer. This gives you everything you need to get started and get results from daytime cold approach. So gobble those courses up.